of angelarts.biz and the founder of Christian Homeschool Family Entrepreneurs. So, as you may have noticed, I really dropped this video show. It has been quite the odyssey for us, and I'll be explaining our adventures or misadventures as time goes on. But I am back, and I am thrilled that you are here because Christian Homeschool Family Entrepreneurs is all about igniting business and so much more. So let me start with a question. What if I told you that whether you're running your own business or working 9 to 5, you're always branding yourself? Yes, today we're going to be talking about how branding applies not only to entrepreneurs, but to employers, to employees, and why it's crucial for everyone, including our children, because we are wanting to raise future entrepreneurs. Here's what branding is about. It's about aligning your identity with your purpose, something God has uniquely designed for each of us. So, how life is branding, unlocking your God-given potential. That is our topic today. Here's the deal. Branding isn't just for entrepreneurs. Branding, in simple terms, is about reputation, how you're perceived, and mainly what sets you apart. Think about where the term branding comes from. I actually have down in the office, a pair of branding irons from cattle ranch that my family used to own. My great-grandparents. And of course, they use those branding irons to distinguish their cattle from the other ranchers' cattle because they didn't have, at that time, they didn't have all the fences and that kind of thing. So for entrepreneurs, branding is the foundation of your business. It communicates who you are, what you stand for, and why people should trust you, because they don't do business with businesses, they do business with people they like, know, and trust. That's why in this group, I've tried to put morning and evening places where we can connect. So, just a little shout out to that. If you can take a moment and come chat, comment on those, and that would be a great way to connect and get to know the other families in this group. And it's a great way to build that trust because you're making those connections and building relationships. And so that's really what I want the foundation of this group to be, is building those relationships. So now you might be an employee, or you might envision your children to be an employee. Just realize this: your personal brand plays a huge role in, first of all, landing a job and keeping the job. All of life is marketing. All of life is sales. That's what it is. It's just the way it is. And it also has a lot to do with advancing your career. Every interaction, every task, every conversation is part of building your brand within the workplace. It's really something that cannot be avoided because, boy, especially when you're looking for a job, you're competing with so many people. And so realizing that you have a brand and setting yourself apart from that competition is really important, even in the workplace. There is importance of marketing and sales in finding and keeping a job. As I said, all of life is marketing. All of life is sales. Job searching is marketing yourself. It's finding a job requires those marketing and sales skills. You're presenting yourself as the solution to your employer's need. You have to sell yourself at job interviews. Boy, was this ever hard for my husband Travis back in the late 90s, early 2000s, when he was switching from being a facility manager, space planner, to being an architectural intern. It was tough. He had to learn how to do that. He had to actually get training in it. And in fact, going on a consultation for a potential client is a lot less nerve-wracking to him than going on, an interview, a job interview. But you have to think of it as a sales presentation where you're selling your skills, your personality, and the fit you have for that company. And then keeping a job requires constant branding. Maintaining your personal brand, you have to do that by consistently delivering value, by building relationships, and by positioning yourself for growth. Not always easy things in a corporate setting, which is why I'm an entrepreneur. So the other thing that's important in this, how life is on branding, life is about branding, is to teach our children about the importance of branding. It's a life skill. It's an essential skill for your children to learn, like I said, whether they're going for a job or becoming a business owner. It helps them gain confidence and clarity. You can teach your children how to brand themselves, and that instills confidence. It helps them communicate their unique gifts and aligns them with their God-given purpose. And I wish I was taught that, especially when I was in my early 20s and I didn't understand how to do that. And so when I did talk about it, people thought I was bragging, and I was shamed for all the talents that I had. But branding can build confidence and clarity. And branding is a path to God-given potential. Branding, when it's done right, can help your children understand that their work, whatever it may be, can serve others and it can honor God. And it doesn't matter what it is they do, anything they do can serve others and honor God. All right, so now I'm all about practicality. So I'm going to tell you about some practical steps to build your brand as an entrepreneur or as an employee. First of all, identify your values. Whether you're running a business or working a job, it's important to define your core values and your strengths. These are the building blocks of your brand. And then it's important to be consistent in your behavior, in your work ethic, and your message is key to building trust and credibility. And then another practical step is continuous learning. Your brand evolves with time, and I'll tell you about something that happened to me a few weeks ago here in a minute. Always keep improving your skills and your knowledge to stay relevant and ahead. Learning is so important, and that's the beauty of homeschooling, is that we can teach lifelong learning and not just in a classroom setting, because most learning does not take place in a classroom. So one thing that I want you to get is that branding is a vehicle for reaching your God-given potential and for your kids as well. You have a unique calling. God has given each of us unique gifts. Branding is a vehicle that allows us to express and use those gifts to their full potential. And then we can serve others through our brand. Whether you're working for yourself or for someone else, your brand can serve others by solving problems and providing value. That's what an entrepreneur is all about. It's really about showing up to serve and seeing a need and filling that need and having a love for the people that need what it is that you have to offer. And then there's long-term impact of branding as a vehicle for reaching your God-given potential. Your personal brand can help you fulfill your mission and purpose over the course of your life, both work and faith. And just to, like I said before, I kind of teased this, but there's so many different levels of revelation, I guess you would call it, of improvement, of growth. Because when I first started looking into this, it was in 1995, and I had made the biggest mistake of my life, and that was before I met my husband. And I started writing down what I thought God was calling me to do, because I realized that I didn't have to do one thing in life. I was a graphic designer full time, and it dawned on me that I didn't have to be that 40 plus hours a week for the rest of my life. So I started asking what God had called me to do, and I wrote down 5 areas. Can I count 5 areas? And later I developed it into a whole chart. Now, I used to work for a Christian organization, and that's what I did as a graphic designer on a regular basis. Worked on mission and vision and value charts all the time. And so I thought, why not make one for myself? So I did. And the mission in my life is to take the comfort that God has given me in my pain and share that with others who are hurting. It's from 2 Corinthians 1. I think it's 2 Corinthians. I always get confused whether it's 1 or 2. But anyway, that is my mission in life. And I came up with that, and it's guided me all these years since 95. And now fast forward to a few weeks ago, and all sorts of things have happened. For one, the biggest thing is that my husband's biggest client that he's worked for since 2001, first as an employee and then as a consultant, he just faded. He didn't have any more work for Travis, and we don't know why. And we don't know if he's going to come back. And I realized that we can't count on him to come back. And so therefore, because my husband's business is the foundation of our personal family, that I have to give attention to his business and help it to grow. But there's a lot of anxiety in that, and fear and feeling inadequate, because architecture is a whole different ballgame than like online publishing or graphic design. Is so completely different. So there's a huge learning curve, and I had to overcome, and I'm still overcoming feelings of inadequacy. And who am I to do this? I'm just whatever it is I think I am, but I'm not some wheeling dealing heavy duty architectural firm salesperson. So I had to overcome all these fears, and a lot of fears I still have to overcome, because although we've started and we made progress, I certainly do not feel that we have made our goals yet. So anyway, I've been very anxious, and losing this client has cost us a lot. And I understand the whole treadmill thing of, oh, got this fly in the background, of not being able to pay bills and getting phone calls and just all of that. I understand that to a very, very big degree. But I was anxious and extremely fearful, and I decided that I needed to just go to my favorite place in this whole property, and that is our vintage camper. It's my happy place. So I went there, and I was listening to some recordings and by one of my favorite teachers, and she was talking about Moses. And it dawned on me as I was listening to this that I have to use branding to deliver my family from the situation that we find ourselves in, to build that foundation for my husband, for our son, and for me, for all of our businesses. But it went beyond that. I am to help those who are in the same or worse position that we're in, help them discover freedom and deliverance from this feeling stuck, feeling like you're on an endless treadmill, feeling like you're on a merry-go-round, and just feeling like you can't make any headway. I've been there, and I'm fighting through it. And through this epiphany I had, I realized that I'm a freedom fighter. And so that is my big mission, especially in my expertise as a branding consultant and a logo designer. That is way more than just the mechanics of branding and the mechanics of design. It's about helping people use branding to discover a whole new level of freedom, a whole new level for themselves. So that was very exciting to me. And that brought a whole different perspective on what I was doing, because even before that, I had decided to, and hopefully you've seen this, is that I'm giving a free webinar October 30th, and it's all about branding. But I realized through this epiphany that it's so much more. It's about finding your mission and your calling and using branding as a vehicle to reach that mission. And that involves freedom and becoming who God made you to be, and to, like Ephesians 2:10 says, we are his workmanship created in Christ Jesus to do good works. And being an entrepreneur and being a homeschooling parent is on the forefront, I'll say on the front battle lines of accomplishing that purpose. So that's why I wanted to, reinvigorate this video series, Ignite Your Business. And before I was doing it every week, I have a lot of different things going on. I've got this, I'm a kind of a Renaissance entrepreneur. I have a lot of different things going on. That's just naturally what I do. And I've learned not to be ashamed about it, but to embrace it. But I tend to take on too much. So I'm going to do these videos every other week. So, and there's other videos. If you subscribe to my channel, you can find those for your encouragement, whether it's branding or Bible study or, out of the box homeschool ideas, just check out that YouTube channel. But it's exciting. And so anyway, sorry for my rambling, but in conclusion, let me summarize this. Branding applies to both entrepreneurs and employees, and it's an essential skill for everyone. It's an essential skill for your children. And I encourage you to take the next step in developing your own brand and helping your kids develop their own brand. It's for the sake of your personal and professional life, as well as for the personal and future professional lives of your children. So, as I mentioned, I have a free webinar coming out October 30th. Please be a part of that. I've got the description below. In the description, I have the link below. So please sign into that. Or sign up for that. It's going to be soon. We'll do a deeper dive into how branding can transform your lives and the lives of your children, whether you're entrepreneurs or employers. So again, look in the description below and you will find that, and you will, it's for those who are interested in further exploring how to align your brand with God's purpose for your life. All right, I know that was a lot. Again, I encourage you to engage in the group. I have purposely, from the very, very beginning, I've made it a place of freedom. I mean, I'm always talking about freedom. I love freedom, And so, in the beginning of this group, I've said that you can put your links in, you can promote your offers, you can promote your business, your products, your services. That's fine. And that's great. But it's important to interact. So I try to, and I don't always get to it because I get very busy, like I said. But twice a day, I'm trying to get those touch points where we can check in with one another and have more of a conversation so that we can get to know one another and build a network, build collaborations, build that like, know, and trust factor that's so important so that we're not just post, 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 post. I'm guilty of it too. So I'm trying to make it different. I'm not going to take away the freedom of posting, your promotions. That's great. But let's be sure to check in on a daily basis. That would be wonderful if you could do that. All right. So that's all. That's enough of my rambling. I'll be back in 2 weeks and we'll see what happens then. All right. So this is Dana Susan Beasley of angelarts.biz. Together, may we reach new heights in our lives and beyond.